Are they coming in already? Give me a break. I need my blueberries. Oh, here it is, Carol.
Wow.
Hey? Do you like that?
Jesus. What is that? What is it?
It's eclectic.
What does that...
I said, so I did eclectic on Monday Night Football the other week.
What, straight, slower?
And he said, electric? I went, no, eclectic.
Eclectic. What does that mean? A collection. A collection of different players.
Eclectic means like a...
Why do you say an
A
collection?
bit of an unusual take on something, like a bit eclectic. Ian, are you eclectic?
Yeah, probably.
Of course he is.
What's that mean?
A mixture of something.
Unusual, that,
Yeah.
rare, unusual.
Eclectic
So is that a
mix.
mixture of colours? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, this is an eclectic mix of colours.
It's mental. Yeah.
Have you bought that or is that...
We're getting there. No, I bought it.
No, when you say represent, is that not yours? Or is
No.
that a name?
No.
How would you go into a shop and look at that and think, I'll buy that?
You lead on this.
What, don't you like it?
You lead on that.
Jamie, you're very block colour-y though, aren't you? You're bam.
I know.
Boom.
It is a problem, I accept that.
What about even on holiday? You
No,
bam,
I go a little bit, but I do stick to me blues,
linen.
me blacks, me
Yeah.
greys. Green's a little bit of a thing for me now.
Green is good. You know why I like green so much? Because you can't wear it on any TV. So I've got so much green gear that I can't wear anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was like even the other day I wore it on the. Cheers! I wore it the other day on the show.
Perfume on. I've heard we've got a special guest.
Nice top, Jill. You look
you.
awesome.
Wrong colour, Jill.
City top.
Wow, light blue.
Wrong
I
colour.
can't wear things that have got lots of writing on the back. People are
I ain't got writing on the back, is it?
Oh, look at this. This one.
Go, let me see.
Could you go and buy that? Imagine walking behind him in the street and seeing that. You're thinking he's a right tosser.
Yes, Thierry.
Oh,
Hi, everyone.
Ça va?
Hello.
Get rid of this. Ça va?
Mon ami.
Ça va me?
Get rid of that. Thank you.
Is
okay?
it I'm okay?
Okay.
How do you remember that? That's crazy.
I think
Ça
from
va.
Très bien.
French lessons. at
No.
school.
This is just
Irish handshake. Nice and simple.
Thierry, have
That's
you always had those tattoos?
No. I got them late when in New York.
I was going to say, they were. I remember when I was marking you, I don't used to see that.
I didn't.
That was close.
see his back.
wasn't that close.
No, never used to. Oh, that's
I love
definitely-
tattoos, though. They get quite addictive, don't they?
That's the thing.
Thierry, I've got to have one this year for my 50th birthday. What? Any suggestions? Any?
You're going to be 51 by the time you get this tattoo.
No, I've got 8 months yet. To get it.
He has a big list of things to do. Have you done any of them?
He ain't done any.
What do you want to do? Do you want a sleeve? What do you want?
What do you want?
Sorry.
A whole sleeve.
times in
Imagine
5
Gary with a
days.
sleeve.
Why not?
No, I think just here. I'm thinking here.
What are you going to put?
He's
What we're
gonna
going to
get.
put? I don't know.
He's gonna get. You see the back of his jacket?
Phil?
He's gonna get that.
Phil.
No,
Get
but
something like a full
Bruce
black like
That's a good
on your back of your
portrait.
jacket there.
yeah.
Thierry, what are those buildings there on the left?
Well, my son was born in New York, so
Oh, she's New York.
yeah.
Oh.
And then I have my other kids at the back. Righty, what do you have there?
No, this is just some numbers.
No, you need to tell him about them because it's a bit worrying. Actually,
Why?
You'll be disappointed in him.
You know what this is? This is when we was doing the COVID. Me, Alan Shearer, and Lineker was doing a podcast.
It's a great
And
story,
so,
this.
and so, because I was 8, he's 9, he's 10, we just put it on.
The numbers of the shirts. He's got Alan Shearer and Gary Lineker's shirt numbers on his hand.
Why?
Because I like them.
Do you have an Our Lady?
I have a Harley, yeah. This one is good.
That the
to
story-
Harley. Yeah, this is my first.
that true,
this
that
is my
story,
first
though?
one. Yeah, what, the Harley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were not supposed to come, and then you came with the yeah.
Yes, and Incy got one as well. We went and got tattoos, and I'm glad this one's covered up all the time. So it was worst tattoo ever, and most painful, I think.
Was it?
Oh, it's terrible. Right on the fat of my thigh. 4 hours.
Quite big,
I think your side hurts. Have you got any on your side?
No, I don't.
This hurts here, in the bone here.
Elbow hurts.
Oh,
Yeah,
You feel it?
imagine elbow.
elbow.
He'd be crying. You'd be crying, definitely.
We'll have to go and film
Do you have a
that.
live tattoo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Live
good.
one.
Yeah,
So
a
bring
live
someone
one
in
yeah.
there.
You should do that.
God, you should get a live one in here, yeah.
What happened to that list you had? Have you done?
Yeah, I'm going to do a bit of it, right? Yeah.
Can you
I don't
remember what it
think one
was
of them.
again?
Glastonbury, I'm not doing now.
Jesus.
I've
that's
booked
one of your bucket
Glastonbury.
lists.
Same here.
I'm
if you-
going.
So what's the Haribo's?
Would you like some, Thierry?
If I start, it's over. You deliver a cross when you've been going up and down the whole game, and the striker's been sitting there the whole game, and then taps it in. People are like, "Oh, my the hero." I'm like, I respect people that also want to beat their fullback on the outside.
Yeah.
That's when I know you're a good dribbler. All I need, Roy, is one. Jamie stopped me way more than I passed him. But people always will remember.
Really? Can't remember.
The fans actually are killing me because my socks are over my knees. When I arrived in England, that didn't look too right.
No.
In all fairness, you're wearing gloves? You know, I'm like, yeah, I'm cold. I always had Martin in training.
Proper kicky in training?
Proper.
Yeah, go
How,
through
can he,
you.
how else can he play?
Once Martin does the eyes, you just back off him.
Although I want stuff, he didn't give a you know what. I took the shirt, I put it there, I said I will never play for this club again. One point you're Michael Jackson, another time you're Tito. I'm still in the group.
You just invested in Como?
Yeah. We did well this year.
Yeah.
Says did very well. I have to give him a lot of credit on that.
And I know it's early for him, but obviously he's a big name footballer. He's made a really good start. Whenever I listen to him speak, he's been on Monday Night Football, hasn't he? But he comes across really well. And I mean, would other clubs be looking at him at this early stage?
You know, not to go into too much details, but a lot of clubs, I think, are coming for him. And there were rumours of Milan, Roma.
But that's good for you, huh? That people want him because he's doing a good job.
Yeah, it is, to be fair, and good for him. You know, although he's there with us, and I think Cesc must be the first coach in history that has shares in the club. Like, he coaches a club that he invested in. I don't know if that happened in history. I don't know if you will know that. But to go back to your point with Cesc, Cesc was always a thinker. Like, when you arrive at Arsenal, the way he broke into the team and how he was thinking the game. I always said there is a difference between playing the game and thinking the game. And he's definitely a thinker, as you saw, and all of his career and what he could achieve and how he saw the game. But yes, when you speak to him, you can speak with him for hours about football. And because he also had that, and I know people will say again that La Masia, Barcelona way of thinking, but he does, really does.
Student of the game, lads.
Attention
They
to
love a
detail.
student of the game. Everyone looks under the sky, he's a student of the game.
Thierry, you just said then play the game or think the game. My first experience of you was when we played against each other directly. You were left wing for Monaco.
Yeah.
On away in Monaco, and I was right back. What would you say that a young Thierry Henry was? Playing the game or thinking the game at that stage?
No, I was playing the game. I just wanted to make a name for myself. Yeah, I was playing the game. I wasn't thinking about anything. Just when you're young, this is why sometimes I get annoyed when I see wingers sometimes not playing their 1v1. When you're young, you don't care about no tactics. You don't care about, you think outside of the tactic. That costs me in games sometimes because you look at your coach and you're like, I'm not doing this. Yeah. I'm a dribbler. Let me have a go. Let me shoot. And then in nowadays, if you don't listen to what the coach says, sometimes you go on the bench. But no, I just wanted to play and make a name for myself. And you have to understand, we played you, I think, in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. And
you beat us.
Yeah, well, not really. 0-0, 1-1.
Yeah.
Trezeguet scored that goal at Old Trafford, and we knocked you out. But like at that moment, I wasn't a winger really. Like at that moment, Jean Tigana and Arsène actually started me as a 9, but Jean Tigana was using me because I was fast.
Yeah.
You know, so he didn't want to lose that in the game, and I was just raw, to be fair. Like, I worked a lot after. What you saw after came obviously with working, and I always say that working hard is a talent. People don't put that in. Like, when they talk about talent, working hard is a talent. And I understood that at one point, and I need to work. But at that moment, I was just playing, in all fairness.
I'm glad you said what you said a few moments ago, where you said that you watch maybe wingers now and they don't take the one-on-one. Because that's interesting, because you've come from sort of you played at Barcelona, obviously, and you understand that way of playing, which is that to not give the ball away easily, to make sure that you recycle at times. But you still want that spontaneity of wingers going, because it drives me crazy. I think if I'm a fullback and the winger passes it, and I see so much of it.
You're happy.
Look, you played with Ryan Giggs. If you're not ready to play against Ryan Giggs, that's on you. He was coming at you every single time. Yeah. Raining, not raining, 5-0, 0-0. Like, that's what I respected Ryan Giggs so much, because he wanted the ball, he wanted to have a go at you. And I respect people that also want to beat their fullback on the outside.
Yeah.
That's when I know you're a good dribbler. If you come inside 1-2 with the 9 or go inside and curve it, even now, I don't know if I would score. It's easy to dummy going back inside and shoot. easy, especially now you have the run of the 10 that make people believe that you might play him, so you come inside and shoot. Beat your guy on the outside. That's why I know you're a good dribbler, because then you dislodge everything. Center back has to come and meet you. Then you free your 9 inside. Everything is so like.
Why are we not seeing that? What's happened?
I think I will be honest with you. I think that coaches sometimes do complicate stuff. And yes, when I went to Barcelona, I will be honest with you, my view of the game changed. But what did matter didn't change. At one point, the game goes to 1v1. Roy had to battle with Patrick. You had to battle with me or Robert Pires. Whatever tactic it is, at one point it's me and you who wants to win that battle. And that's what it is. It's funny that you say that Desiree Doué. We're in the semi-final of the Olympic Games and we're losing 1-0 against Egypt at home, or we go to the final of the year, or we don't. And I'm looking at, I'm playing 4-3-1-2. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to play with wingers and wide. I'm going to change the tactic. Although we could have scored before, we didn't. Desiree Doué comes on, and you all saw that he can dribble. Yeah. He's strong. Like, as soon as he gets going, there's no way you can stop him. So we play. So we take the risk to play out from the back to free you in a 1v1. You pass the ball back. Mm-hmm. What the F are you doing? Yeah. Like, I might as well launch it.
Yeah.
Why am I taking risk to play short, to free you in a 1v1 for you to pass? He did it twice. I got up, I said, if you do it again, you're out. Take risk. Yeah. Go. Why you want to take that away from a player that can dribble? And also, sometimes, and what is dribbling? I see a lot of guys that stops the ball and do a lot of showboats and pass it back, or whatever it is. You can do that at times when you're winning and you want the crowd to enjoy the game. But go, have a go.
Don't be afraid to lose it. You've no problem with losing it. No problem.
All I need, Roy, is one.
Right.
All I need is one. You stopped me. I said it to Jamie so many times. Jamie stopped me way more than I passed him. But people always will remember.
Really? Can't remember.
It is.
Cash has gone out.
Yeah, but you remember.
It is.
Yeah, of course.
All you need as a knight is one, or a striker, because you need to believe that you're going to make it happen. You need to believe that you're going to make it happen, and you will fail and fail and fail again. But it's how you come back and try to be successful, especially as a dribbler. Why are you going to stop a dribbler dribbling? Yeah. I don't get it.
Who give you that confidence? Because when I used to watch you, you'd come deep, get the ball, you'd want to take on 3 players, and then you'd come and get it again, Where did that confidence come from? The manager, the fans? You just looked like you were just loving playing.
Me being stubborn.
Is it?
Me being stubborn and equipped to be able to do it. So I'll explain. I wasn't gifted right from the start, and I know people mind. I was just fast. I had an eye for a goal or understanding. I needed maybe 6 chances to score 1. I wasn't that great of a finisher. I would have had the ability to present myself in front of the goalkeeper because I was faster. So at one point I was like, my coach, I had the coach, I have to mention him, Joaquim Francisco Filho, Brazilian coach that I had in Clairefontaine. And when I arrived in Clairefontaine, he said to me so many times in training session, he said, today you're not going to be able to use your speed. And I looked at him, I was like, how am I supposed to play? Like, that's my attribute. He said, I don't care. The day you're going to play against someone that's as fast as you, what you going to do? So he stopped me using my speed. Sometimes we have themes in games. You're not allowed to pass the ball back, or you're not allowed to pass the ball back as a 9. That's what created, you guys played against me. I always used to go to a zone where nobody could go and get me.
Yeah.
That came from that, because it's raw laziness. As a 9, sometimes you you can pass it back. So suddenly, when I knew I couldn't pass the ball back, my body started to put myself 3/4. I need to see you coming. I need to see how far you are. I understood distances. So I was always going to sit, like if holding midfielder is there, the right back is there, the right back is there, and the winger, let's say Bergkamp was there, or you, Erwin, or whoever was in the middle, and you were there, I was always going to stand here.
That was very annoying, that.
Roy's on your shoulder.
Yeah.
I was always going to stand there, because by the time you guys argue or whatever, I receive the ball at turn, or if you come too early, I spin. I was always trying to find out a bit. To go back to your point, that coach gave me that because he made me think about the game when I was 13. Sometimes you have guys like, okay, he's fast. We're going to utilize the fact that he's fast. He's going to go with the under-17. That's not my problem after. They will teach him how to play and understand movement. And my coach was like, no, today you can't do this. Or when I used to just push the ball, it was like, hey, what are you doing? You're not dribbling properly. And so he made me understand that if you have to push the ball, if you see grass and there is 40 meters and you're faster, why are you stopping the ball? This is why I don't understand when I see guys that are fast and there is 60 meters down the line and you're coming like that to me and I see the grass and those guys turn and pass the ball back. I'm like, what are you doing? Just push the ball. You don't need no step overs. You don't need to turn and be cute.
Yeah.
Just push the ball and run. That doesn't mean that you can play, that doesn't mean that you can play football. When I had to dribble shorter, I was dribbling shorter. Yeah. But if there is space and I'm faster than you,
But you said dribbling, did that mean you had to go beyond them, or was that sometimes, like you mentioned Giggsy and Becks and these lads, sometimes that was just going on the outside and getting half a yard? It wasn't necessarily going past them, it was just getting a half a yard and then putting it in.
I had that discussion with Doku in the national team. Very interesting. I'm looking at him and as you always...
Yeah.
I'm like, when you do this, what do you see? Are you here, or are you there?
Yeah.
Because you do this to see what you're doing because you're cooking here. I call it cooking. You're cooking here, and you see the movement of your line, but you do this, you don't even know what's happening there. You don't need to dribble past someone to deliver a cross. You don't need to dribble past someone to give an assist. It's about balance, like everything in life. Sometimes you have to show both. We all know Dennis Bergkamp was one of the best examples for me because although he could show both, he was always doing what the game was asking him to do and what was required, not what he wanted to do, regardless of the situation of the game. And that, for me, makes the difference. That's why you see sometimes some guys, as you said, Giggsy was just outstanding.
Yeah.
David Beckham. When you look at him, you're like, okay, not really fast, not particularly strong, but shift, crossed. Go, shift a bit, cross. The nines knew what was happening, and then you could deliver. I agree with that one. You don't need to. And I had a discussion with Doku, and I didn't stay long enough to talk to him more about it. But you don't have to dribble past someone to deliver a good cross.
This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by Sky Bet. This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by Huel. I'm just not a fan of fad diets. I mean, protein shifted in the latter part of my career. We were so carb focused in the early parts of nutrition being introduced at United. Then it shifted to protein and the understanding that straight away after a major training session that you'd have to basically sort of load with protein. And then that's not changed. It's sort of even become more apparent, not just necessarily now in sports teams at the elite level, but also I think in sort of mainstream, the population are aware that protein is something that you need to make sure you take in, and the amount of protein that you take in, and sort of particularly when you take it in as well. So yeah, it's something that's developed enormously in this last 20, 30 years. It shocked me. Last time I spoke to a nutritionist was a few years ago, and I was finding myself sort of like almost questioning what I was eating. And I said about lightheaded in the afternoon, and they said you're not having enough protein, you're not having enough intake of food, and to try and get the level of protein that he told me to was almost impossible in a day without going for something like this. Right now, new customers can get my exclusive offer plus a free gift at huel.com/the overlap. That's my exclusive offer plus a free gift for new customers at huel.com/the overlap.
Thierry, can I ask you about, you just mentioned a coach there at Clairefontaine and you're on that journey of sort of monarchy, you go to Juventus, you're playing wing-back, I think, Ancelotti and this type of time. And then when you come to Arsenal, you're seen as, this young player, exciting French player. But within 12 months, you're almost like a superstar in the Premier League. Because doesn't frustrate me, but people always say, Thierry Henry took a year to settle at Arsenal. He scored 25 goals in your first season. I always used to hear that thing said a lot. What's that development in that first 12 months in terms of Arsène Wenger?
It's in terms of everything. I had to understand what I wanted to do. At times, players always look to see if they can have an escape or an exit, or trying to say, oh, look, they didn't like me, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. And I always say, people forget, but we beat Middlesbrough at home 5-1, I think, when Davor Suker came on as a sub. Davor Suker was in our squad, people forget.
Yeah.
Came on as a sub, and I stayed on the bench. Stayed on the bench. I was like, you're gonna have to wake up here. Like, you have to wake up. Like, first and foremost, you come after this guy. You come after Anelka that had outstanding season, and what a player he was. People do sleep sometime on how great Nicolas Anelka was. So you come after this guy. Kanu is playing. Bergkamp is playing. If you want to go on the left, it's Mark Overmars, and Davor Schuker is on the bench with you. And we just won 5-1. And the fans are not singing my name. The fans are killing me because my socks are over my knees. Yeah, they were. It's a fact. It's okay.
Yeah.
I had light blue gloves with short sleeve. It didn't look right. No, but when I arrived in England, that didn't look too right.
No.
In all fairness, you're wearing gloves. You know, I'm like, yeah, I'm cold. Yeah, but I'm cold. I'm a man, but I'm cold. It's like, what do you mean I'm cold? I'm cold. Anyway, so it didn't look too right. So I remember that day I took the train back with the fans. No one recognized me, nothing. I took the train back and I was like, hey, listen, you need to start to work.
Did you speak to anyone?
No, I didn't speak to anybody. I think, look, I always say to people, like, I'm not trying to be, I'm just telling you what I went through. The best discussion you can ever have is with yourself. If you want to be honest with yourself. The rest, I can lie to you, no problem. But then after, if you know exactly what you have to do, so I had to wake up early to be able to perform. And you talk about Wenger, yes, but I will talk about the whole guard. And I mentioned it so many times. And I think sometimes that's what's missing at clubs. And we all went through it. When I arrived at Arsenal, you have to impress Tony Adams. You have to impress Martin Keown, you have to impress Lee Dixon, you have to impress Nigel Winterburn, you have to impress David Seaman, you have to impress the chef. He's an Arsenal fan. Doesn't care about you winning the World Cup and what you did. You didn't do anything yet here. Who are you? Like, and rightly so you have to embrace it. Okay, let me show you who I am, but like you walk in and you see Dennis Bergkamp and you see the history of the club, and Tony Adams at that moment, not to go into details, was going through his stuff, so he wasn't really talkative. So I'm like, that's a tough place to be. Although Patrick Vieira was there and some of the guys were there, some of the French guys, they did help me. But after, at the end of the day, if you don't perform, people don't like you. You know, however you want to look at it, people are like, oh, he was a nice guy. Nice guy don't stay. Nice guy go.
People always speak well of Tony Adams, don't they, right?
Yeah.
They always speak highly of him as a captain, yeah.
Tony was, I call him the skip whenever I see him. And when you know also what he went through, what he had to endure, and the person that he was, so those guys made me understand what it was to be there and what I had to do in order to perform. Then you embrace it or you don't. I always say, if you don't, then you got to go. You know, people always say, Thierry, that's harsh. That's not harsh. That's the rule of the game. When you play for Arsenal or when you play for Man United or Liverpool, you have to bring trophies. If you don't,
Training? Did they train? Lee
No, but
Dixon,
that's what I
Nigel,
said.
did they all train with
It was tough.
intensity?
I remember I always say, I believe that I scored goals easy. It was easier to score goals on a Saturday than it was in training.
right? See,
Because someone like Martin.
someone.
No, I love hearing all that stuff.
Honestly,
I love when I hear top players who were at it all the time.
Martin
So-
don't give you a minute's break in training.
I'll be so. They don't mind me saying it. I think they wouldn't mind because I think for me that's what's missing in the game. Sometimes you have to live with your time, and it's a different era. But I remember arriving in England and having that European continental way of playing. You know, if you pull the shot of someone, if you stop, usually the ref blow the whistle. So I arrived, I shielded the ball. I think we were playing Leicester at home, my first game. And someone went in front of me, took the ball. I thought he kicked me and I thought he pulled my shirt. So, you know, in a nice way, I stopped. Counter. My fans started to have a go at me. Everybody started to go at me. I came back in the dressing room after the game. Lee Dixon came up to me and said, "Oi, you," I won't say the rest. "You need to," I won't say the rest. Move. So I was like, okay. But the whole week after in training, oh my God. I needed protection here, protection there, protection
They're coming everywhere.
Was that the biggest difference, the physicality in the Premier League?
You know what? It's not so much what they did and how they did it, is they were willing to make you understand what it was. It could have been by, at the time, you could kick people. Mm-hmm. That's how it was in training. Just imagine how it was in the game. So just imagine training, where you stop it if someone wants to stop it. It's just the fact that they were willing to let you know what it takes at this club to win and what this club means to everybody and to themselves. And you are not supposed to come here and F around. That's about it. Whatever you want before, it doesn't matter. Come here, make us believe or make us, see that you can perform. And then after the battle for you though. Yes. Martin Keown would have put his nose for me anywhere, at any time. Yeah. But I go back to your point. I always had Martin in training. But Roy, you guys are laughing.
Kicking, you were proper kicking in training?
Proper.
Yeah, go through you.
How else can he play?
True. I was being polite, yeah.
I will apologize to Martin. I'm not saying that in a bad way. No. But Martin always played 100. Against his son, he would have been against anyone, he would have been 100. If he has to step on your head, it's every single time.
He would always say that you're not going to get marked like this tomorrow.
Oh my God.
That's the kind of thing. You won't get marked like this on Saturday.
Biting, pulling.
Did you ever like sort of
course,
edge with him or like a little bit of sort of in training?
Me and Martin had when you jump up and it gets all like that, but once Martin does the eyes, you just back off him. You know what I mean? But like, when his eyes go, if he thinks you're taking a piss, he goes crazy. But like, he was right. He was right for me. You know what I mean? He used to mark me in all the training.
You know what he used to say to me? Because Martin, as you know, can, always has a thing where, with the back four, I'm not going to go there, no, I'm not going there.
He's not involved.
Every day in training, he used to come and say to me, Thierry, I'm playing against you today again, you see? They don't want anyone else to get embarrassed. They give me the dirty. They know who's the best. Don't tell them.
Don't tell, yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you the one. Did you ever see when any time where he tried to do the same with Dennis? Dennis. Some of the times
can you please tell them how Dennis was?
Dennis was nasty.
Was he? Yeah, nasty side to it.
Roy, he was dirty.
Well, yeah.
Dennis.
Yeah, brilliant it was once he stayed, yeah.
Dennis was. I used to laugh.
Yeah,
he was nasty.
Brilliant player.
No, you had something with him.
Yeah, he stamped on me.
Yeah, he said. And you threw the coin back.
Not at him, at the crowd. Yeah.
This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by Sky Bet. This episode of Stick to Football is sponsored by Trainline. This season's set for a big finish, and for fans heading to the game, the journey is all part of the experience. Every fan's got their match day ritual, but here's one thing you should add to yours. Open the Trainline app and let them handle the travel. Because on a match day, the last thing you want to be doing is a last-minute scramble to find out the best price train ticket. That's where Trainline comes in. They've got a best price guarantee. That means you won't find cheaper same-day train tickets anywhere else. But even if you do, Trainline will refund the difference. There are no booking fees when you book on the day either, just simple, hassle-free travel that gets you to the game and back without overpaying. You pay enough for your match ticket, don't overpay for the train. You book it, you back your team, and Trainline back your wallet. So whether it's an early kick-off or a late one under the lights, download the Trainline app today. Exclusions and conditions apply. Search Best Price Guarantee on trainline.com. What was different about Arsenal than Juventus and Monaco, where you'd previously been?
It was just an evolution that helped me grow. So I arrived in the first team in Monaco. So that year I was playing a year above with under 17, and I had a good season. And the way I started with the first team is like everybody. Like the four strikers were injured. One was sick, 3 injured, and I don't know why Arsène bypassed the reserve and he went to take me with under 17. Okay, so I started as a 9. But when Arsène after got the sack, he got the sack after 4 games in that I was in. And because I was fast, people put me on the wing, so I started to play on the wing, not understanding how to move as a winger, nothing. I was just real fast, pushing the ball at people and running, kicking the ball out. The way I used to run with the ball was actually shocking. It was. That's what I always say to people. It's one thing to be fast, and fast with the ball is a different ball game. Then won the league with Monaco. That got me an entrance to be in the national team. You win the World Cup, whatnot. And then I get the move to Juve, which was I arrived, the coach was Marcello Lippi. Marcello Lippi is, you know, I don't know if you know him. I mean, I only had 4 games with him, but Juve was struggling. I don't know if you remember that also. It was the year where Zeman, the coach of Roma, was saying that the Juve players were
Drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I
You've
arrived,
always said that, haven't you?
Yeah, Gary said it.
because we were 11th, we were 11th in the league. When I arrived, I think we finished 6th. That year it was chaos, really chaos. Then Ancelotti arrived. Then Ancelotti was playing a 3-5-2. Man, I'm the wingback. Oh my gosh. So I went from being number 9, winger, that couldn't even, I was doing what I was doing, but okay. Then I arrived at Juve, and then you play as a wingback.
All the games at wingback.
Yeah, almost all the games. I will be honest with you, at the beginning I struggled. Yeah. Because you have to be the 4th defender, the 5th midfielder, the winger, the cross on the other side, you have to make the box.
Yeah.
Hey, yes. That was tough, especially as a 9. I was a 9, like a 9 when I was young. Yeah. Don't ask me anything.
But great for your education, wasn't it? When you look back now.
Yeah. And that's why, you know what, Roy, it's a great point, because that's exactly, I understood how tough it was to be a real football player. I'll tell you why, because 9 sometimes have it easy. They have it easy, they score the winner. No, it's true. Yeah. I've been there, so that's why. And Jamie will tell you that I understood how great an assist is. When I was a 9, I didn't care. You give me a ball, I push it in, you run, you're alone, you forget that your team bailed you out for 89th minute, but the day after is you bailed them out. It's wrong for me. And I know people will say that, oh, come on. No, I always have been like that. I always thought like that because I went there. If I didn't play on the wing, I would never have understood what it is to be a team player. I'm not saying that 9 are not team players, understand me well. But, yeah, if you score the winner when you miss all your touch, you didn't help the team one time and they bailed you out and it looked like you bailed them out, people say, oh my God, he scored again.
Yeah.
So I understood, and that's why you talk about education, that it educated me a lot. But if you go back to the Juve point, one thing happened there that showed me that I had character and I knew I was going to take no you-know-what from anyone. So I was there. Everyone asked me why I left Juve. I didn't leave Juve because of playing or not playing or whatever it was, because I finished the season kind of okay, to be fair, scoring goal, giving assists. But then at the end of the game, Moji, so the director at the time.
The owner, is it?
No, he was the sporting director.
Sporting director.
But he was almost the owner, trust me.
Yeah.
And more. Let's leave it there. Grabbed me after a game, just finished the game, and he puts me in the room, and Ancelotti was in the room there. But straight after the game, not even straight after the game. He goes like, we're going to send you to Udinese. I'm like, can I take a shower? We're going to send you to Udinese because I don't know if you remember at that time. They had Birov and Amoruso.
Yeah, okay.
Remember that team of Udinese?
Yeah, yeah.
So we want Amoruso, but then they will only sell it to us if you go there on loan.
You.
So I'm looking at Ancelotti, he's not saying anything. He said, yeah, but we trust you. We trust you. I said, oh, great trust. Do you trust Del Piero? They said, yes. Okay, send him on loan then.
Did you say that to them?
Yes, but I was stupid at that time. But my point is, I didn't take no you-know-what from nobody. I took the shirt, I put it there, I said I will never play for this club again. And not because of the fans, not because of anyone, because it's an outstanding club. Seriously, great club, great fan base. The way they look after you in Italy is almost like you're below God. The way they treat you it's outstanding. But that was disrespectful. So I left. You always have to take, there is always a story and a meaning in what you're doing in life and how it happened. As much as I was okay, that I didn't like it too much. Yeah. But I didn't accept it though. This is why I always say to people, regardless of your dad, your mom, family, your neighborhood, or whatever it is, you don't have to accept anything from anyone if you don't want to do it. Like, take your life, take control of your life. That's what I did, and obviously then...
How old was you then?
99 years, I just turned 22. Just turned 22. But to be able to, what you need to understand, that guy was that guy was so respected, but I felt disrespected, and so I left.
But obviously Arsenal's a great option. I'm always intrigued. Hear a lot of foreign players talk about, is London a big attraction for players? Was that part of the package, or was it Arsenal, or was it...
I'll be honest with you, this guy sitting there like made me, at the very beginning, fall in love with Arsenal. Then I would go back to Wright after. Then, when you had all the French guys, we go in the national team, the guys are telling, oh my God, it's amazing to play for Arsenal. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Enough already. Like,
That's Patrick, Emmanuel.
Yeah, Patrick, Nicolas Anelka, Emmanuel Petit, Gilles Grimondi, whatever, because Gilles was a good player also.
But was London a part of the package for them as well? Or?
No,
it was
the
just
Arsenal.
pure
It was,
Arsenal.
It was the Arsenal. Highbury, the Premier League also, Premiership at the time. Even the guys playing, I don't know if you remember, Didier Domi, Luisa was at Newcastle. They came, they're all like, oh my God, the Premiership is amazing. Oh my God, you don't understand. You tackle and they clap. No, but
good for me.
they were like, hey, if you put the ball down and you put your head up and you dribble, so the way they were selling it,
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, it's like, and then Arsène was there. He gave me my debut. There's a lot of stuff that was like, and then Wright. So the first time I saw Wright it's actually, the final against Man United, 3-3, 1-0, And then I followed where he went, because that final, the 3-3 one, obviously, then you went to Arsenal, and I followed, and then you knocked Paris Saint-Germain. You guys knocked Paris Saint-Germain out. I think it was 0-0.
Yes.
And then Kevin Campbell scored on a free kick, that header. Started with Wrighty, the French crew, and then after, obviously, I kind of embraced it.
You said before, you obviously you've got a spirit, because to walk into a sporting director's office and then say, I'll never play for you again, takes obviously...
I didn't even do that. He called on me into a room.
Yeah. But you said earlier on, when you were talking before, about you should ignore the coach when you're a wide player. When you get into a wide area and you should dribble at someone. But do you not think players are frightened to ignore... I watch players now in wide areas. They're actually frightened to ignore the instruction of the coach about how to play. It's so methodical.
Understand well when I say ignore. It might be a strong word. But at one point...
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You got to do what you have to do. Like what you want. You want people to make you go to goal. No, you have to. And yes, if you're not successful, you have to understand also that you might go and sit, and that's the way it is, because the coach will say to you, I didn't tell you to do that, but if you bend it in the top corner, you dribble free, you score a solo goal, or you cross it back, and I don't know, no coach is going to go and say to you, sit down. So you need also at one point to be you. Like, I knew I could dribble. I knew I could go in the middle and take the ball and go. It didn't always happen, trust me, but I knew I could do it. But I need to show people that I can. And in order for them to understand that I can, I go back to training.
Yeah.
I go back to training, because if I arrive always late, if I don't put 100% in training, do you think that Dennis Bergkamp was going to give me the key? Do you think that they were going to allow me to stay on the left sometimes? I wasn't even there as a 9 sometimes. I used to stay on the left and try to do what I had to do. But you have to earn that also. Understand when I say ignore. Okay, don't ignore your coach when you just arrived from the academy and we don't know. And still, if you have that personality and you're going to back it up, then do it.
Yeah.
But you got to back it up. I reached that level of ignoring someone when I was like, okay, I'll show you what I can do.
Because I played against you in Monaco, you were raw, you were very raw.
Very.
But then obviously I play against you at Arsenal and you're just like, you're smooth, you're in control of everything. Your understanding of the game is completely different level.
I will be honest with you, Euro 2000. Euro 2000 with the French team for me was, I think, my best, that summer, that Euro. When everything, you start, it's so stupid what I'm going to say, but you look at everything and everything seems, oh, that's it.
And what was that? What was that picture?
Everything is in slow motion. Like, you kind of like, I'm sure you're the same. When you're in control of everything that's happening.
Not quite.
No, come on.
I watched Mo Salah at the moment, this period in his career, and he's got to that point that you're talking about, that point whereby he just looks like he's got all the time in the world. I know what you're describing. I didn't experience it myself on the pitch, but I got to that point in Euro 2000 playing with who in
Euro
that team?
2000, that's when I realized that, okay, again, I put myself in a situation to be able to realize, okay, because if you're not equipped, when you arrive in a national team and you have to play with Zidane and Yuri Djorkaeff and Deschamps and all this, if you don't give the ball to Zizou, you get that look.
Yeah.
If you don't give the ball to Yuri, you also get that look. If you lose the ball, Marcel Desailly is waiting for you with a knife in a dressing room. So you have 55 minutes to an hour to perform because someone on the bench can take your place. And suddenly I'm on the field and I'm not thinking about this anymore.
You're not thinking about passing to the players
I'm not thinking about anybody anymore. I'm thinking about what the game is asking me to do. And and obviously we're talking about Zidane, but I'm like, okay, I have to do what I have to do. And when I have to give the ball to Zizou, I give it to Zizou. If I have to give it to Yuri, I give it to Yuri. If that's the right call, that's the right call. And if I come, I'm not scared anymore. I'm dropping. You have Marcel Desailly used to, oh my God, I'm just thinking about it. When you used to drop and asking the ball to Marcel Desailly, it's almost praying at the same time. He used to smash it to you.
What, wrap it into you quickly?
You played. He used to go bend himself like this and just
Bend himself.
Hey, he used to smash it, and I'm thinking, how am I going to control this? Going against the ball,
Against the defender behind.
and if you lose it, this guy is like.
Jill
So
likes that as well, a bit of smashing.
Hey, he was good. There he is. It only took half an hour. Can I just
Someone
ask?
smashed it into you.
Can I just ask you about winning the World Cup in '98? Obviously, you were so young. Do you think that's what drove you to obviously want to get all them trophies and successes? Because basically, you did the biggest thing that any footballer would love to do at such a young age.
It was kind of weird because I didn't think about it at the time too much. First and foremost, I'm young. I'm not thinking like if you 30 or is the World Cup at home, that might be my last one. You're not approaching it the same way. And also, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about it, is if you took all the squads of everybody, pundits at the time, or ex-players or journalists, I was in none of them. My name was never mentioned. Never. So I saw it as, oh, really? Okay, let me show you. I always was reacting more to people doubting me than people praising me. So that helped me again. So I didn't think. What I was thinking is I need to make the squad. I need to make the squad. I wasn't thinking about the World Cup. I need to make the squad. And when I made the squad, I was like, I need to start. I wasn't thinking about winning the World Cup because I wasn't in the bracket of thinking of winning the World Cup or dreaming about it. I wasn't even dreaming about being in the squad. And that helped me a lot, in all fairness, because I wasn't thinking about anything else than that.
Have you always had that thing about proving people wrong?
Yes.
Even though you got to the heights where you got to as a player, I think me knowing you, even watching you play, you almost play angry.
Always.
You know, so what's that? Has that always been something to sort of...
But first and foremost, it was...
yourself?
my first thing is I always say that what you're scared of will master you. So my dad was that. So it was always me. For me, it was always to put a smile on the face of my dad, which was the toughest thing I had to do. So everything after that didn't bother me so much. Don't get me wrong, it was tough. So I always grew up with that.
Was he ever satisfied with you?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Now, yes. At the time, no. So it's very difficult to... Because I got it after. I got the, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it when I wanted to hear it.
Right.
But then also, put it on the other side. That drove me to be able to I'll show you. You know, and kind of praising people, not the sake of praising people.
You have to earn it, yeah.
But
Yes.
you know, that was always me, and that's why you will see me and people are like, Thierry, you don't celebrate your goal, you always seem angry. I say, yeah, because the way I've been educated, for example, let's say I miss a 1v1 and I score a goal after, I would have been, while celebrating this goal, I'm thinking about how did I miss the other one?
Yeah.
And I know it was, it's not always easy in your own head when you're like that, because when do you rest?
Yeah.
But that was my way. So yeah, I did play Hungary for a very long time.
Do you wish you'd enjoyed them moments more when you look back?
You know what? No, I don't wish anything else. I don't regret anything, because that's what shaped you. That's what made you. I'm not going to go back now. That was my way. Some guys used to smile or whatever. But having said that, which is weird for me, is before a game, you will always see me laugh and not be serious in the tunnel or whatever. And I used to wind people up I played with. I used to joke. And then when the ref blew the whistle, I used to play. But it's weird though, because if you think about it, when you see me giving an assist, I used to smile.
Yeah.
Not when I used to score. So I guess the sharing part, the understanding also, being on the other side, going up and down, 89th minutes, you deliver a cross when you've been going up and down the whole game, and the striker's been sitting there the whole game and then taps it in, and then he goes on the other side, and you see that grass in your teeth, battling with your right back or your left back, and then people are like, "Oh, the hero." I'm like,
So you got more satisfaction from an assist?
Yeah,
than a goal?
way more.
You did at the Stadium of Light. I remember 3 assists to Freddie Ljungberg, and I remember I was 16 years old. I think it was 2002, 2003, and I think you beat us 4-0. You scored 1, and the whole stadium just got up and applauded you when you left the pitch. And it's one of my main memories of watching Premier League football. It was incredible.
It's kind of weird because you guys will not remember. Ruud will remember, that's for sure. I'm battling with him on the last day to finish top goal scorer. And that's the first time he passed me that year.
Oh, that year, wow.
And I'll be honest, I was upset. I don't know if you remember the third one. I give the ball to Freddie, he can reverse it for me to score. And then, no, he didn't. No. But then I wouldn't have had the 20 assists though.
Right.
But this is what I'm saying. If I was, and did I sometime play for myself or because I made a great move and I have to finish this one, it'll be great. Yes, I did, like any 9. You got to be also a bit greedy. You need to have the right balance. But more often than not, if I was greedy, it's the last game of the season, I could have done whatever I wanted that day. We were sure to finish second, nothing was going to happen, and I still get 3 assists. So this is why, not only I say it, but that's how I used to play. You have to play, for me, the right way. And I made mistakes sometimes for being too greedy, and also to let it go too much sometimes, because I knew I could go, and then I just wanted to go, oh, it would be nice if I give him a goal, and I'm like, you missed. Or my pass wasn't great also.
Right.
But I wasn't the right play. You know what I mean? Sometimes too nice and too greedy is not always the right play.
Who was he tried that penalty? Remember the penalty? Was that you and Perez?
It's not it's him.
He miskicked it.
You miskicked it. But you were laying it off.
No, he
was laying it off for you. Oh, right. Okay.
You should have been the one to lay it.
Right.
I remember that.
Is that right?
This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by Sky Bet.
Terry, Barcelona, bro. Because Barcelona was obviously with Pep and Messi and everyone. What was it like when you got there, obviously, with everything
first and
you've done
foremost, let's start with the beginning, okay? It's not always easy to have it a certain way at a club, and then you decide to go for various reasons that I mentioned so many times. You arrive at a club that won the Champions League. You have Eto'o in the middle, Messi on the right, Ronaldinho on the left. And I've been told that I was going to start on the bench by Wright, and I said, I'm coming. I need to battle. I need to battle in training. When I'm not challenged, I'm not really, I look for that challenge every day, every day of the week. That's what I need. I'd rather competing than being in the comfort zone. So to go there, to relearn to play a certain way. Arriving there, I was divorcing. I arrived there injured. Learning a new language, a new style of play. People didn't care. And as it should be. You go on the field.
The fans and everybody.
Anyone, no one cared. No one cared. It's life, that's how it is. You have to find a way. I always did find a way. Nobody said, oh, Thierry's getting injured. Injured, getting divorced, And at the time, how it is, while the divorce, I didn't see my daughter too much, because of what it was. And you have to perform. You just arrive, people are looking at you. You're the new guy. What are you going to do? What are you going to show us? We won Champions League. You never won it. You never won anything. No, but that's how it is. And I understand that and I respect that. And that's how it should be. Again, I go back. I find myself again in a situation, show me that you can perform with us and then we will embrace you. Other than that, I don't agree with... if you arrive at the club and people welcome you, so be it. But it doesn't mean that they don't have to welcome you. Show them that you can be here and perform. And was it difficult? Yes, it was difficult. I'll be honest with you.
Thierry, tell them the story about, you've told me before, it's brilliant, about Xavi.
That's a great story.
That's why I asked you.
I'm used to it. So at the time, I'm upset. I'm a bit upset because when you're the new one on the block, people are having a go at you more than the guy that won before, which I understand. But then what he does wind you up. So I always remember I'm with Samuel Eto'o. We're going up the stairs in the Camp Nou and I'm looking at, the Mesqueron Club. So, when you go I'm talking to Samuel Eto'o and I'm like, Mesqueron Club, come on, man.
Was that more than a club?
Yeah, more than a club. And I'm like, come on, man. And Xavi was behind me. I didn't see he was behind me. He goes, oi, what did you say? So I looked. I said, what?
Danny DeVito?
He said, what did you say? Don't talk about my club like this. You never won anything here. You shut up, work. When you win something one day, you can talk about it, okay? I looked at him, and at that moment, he was well within his right for me to understand what he was, because I actually didn't know what he was. Now I know what it is, because obviously when I lost there, I won there, so I understood what that club meant and what it means. But this is why also the club is what the club is, because Xavi passed it on to me at that moment. Although I won stuff, he didn't give a you-know-what. He said, you're going to respect my club, regardless of who you are. Win here or if not, shut up. I was like, whoa. I didn't say anything back, and it's not very much like me to not have the last word. But I looked at him and I went, I genuinely turned and I went, sorry.
Was he the leader in that dressing room? I mean, there were probably many, but who?
But this is what I said with Barcelona. They will all hammer you with what the club is.
Who is that?
Anyone that went to La Masia, anyone that won
so
that,
PK.
anyone, they will talk to you about it. They will just say that's how they think, that's how they are. They will pass it on because they believe in it, because they have a duty, they have a way of playing. You like it or you don't. That's how it is. They're proud of what they do. They're proud of the club. But it's nice to have people like that. Yeah. Like I could have turned and go like, who are you talking to? Yeah. Like, no, he's right.
There were a lot of players who came through the academy in that team, weren't there? Obviously, it was incredible. I mean, probably 7 or 8 of them.
You had maybe more, and not fringe players, by the way.
Puyol, PK, Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta, Messi, Pedro.
Yeah.
Around at that time as well.
And then you had some guys that were coming sometimes too, but main guys.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from Ajax, that team in the 90s, but Barcelona has been dominating football with guys in the academy. I mean, who can say that? Like, you guys did it, but now that's... If you look at the last 20 titles in Spain, they won 11. Yeah. And I know people always judge Real Madrid with the Champions League. Yeah. They won 11.
Yeah.
So that Champions League team that won, they won 11.
You mentioned before that you played number 9 for Arsenal, which obviously you drifted out to left, but when you went to Barcelona, you actually ended up playing...
Yeah.
Out on the left side in that, obviously, final against United in Rome in 2009. It was Messi up front, it was Eto'o on the right and you on the left. Did you like that?
Did I like to play high and wide and on the left? No. But it's not my gig.
What did he say? How did he introduce that to you?
Sorry, can I do... You just... Sorry, when you said it's not your gig...
Yeah.
Then... Is that... Do you mean it's not your team, it's Messi's team? It's almost like you're just part of the...
You have to understand when sometimes, one point you're Michael Jackson, another time you're Tito. I'm still in the group.
I think I'm Tito. Obviously. Who's the one below Tito?
You're Janet.
Don't pick on the woman.
No,
I like that.
joking aside,
Brilliant.
joking aside, this is what I'm trying to say to you is great players will understand what they need to do at a certain times. This is why I love Dennis Bergkamp. But you have to show the guy that he can let it go. If you're not the guy that's gonna make me win, like when you see Leo Messi, you gotta be stupid not to run for him. Are you stupid? You gotta be stupid. Like I don't care, that wasn't my role or whatever. I started to enjoy pressing because when I went to Barcelona, that's when I started to enjoy pressing. This is why I get annoyed when people say a player, especially a striker or a striker or a forward, whatever. When people say, oh, he's complete. Can you press? If you can't press, you're not complete. People always talk about strikers on the ball. What do you mean on the ball? We all played. When you play away from home and a guy can press well and shield well, you played with Tevez, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Rooney was good at it.
That's what I'm saying, but people never mention that about a striker. They always said left foot, right foot, header is fast. No, what do you mean? I enjoyed pressing at Barcelona.
Did you have to press much, Tucky? You were always in possession.
No.
Always seemed to have 80% possession.
You know what, Roy? This is one of the things. Every time we used to leave the game and I used to go through the mix zone, when people ask me, oh my God, you guys, I said, do you see how much we're sprinting? Do you see how much? Why do you think we always retain the ball? Because we don't let those guys play. And who stops them first? It was Sam. Sam was outstanding, by the way.
Yeah.
Sam putting pressure and, my God, hey, people always talk about his finishing and his this and his that. Sam was outstanding. Yeah. Sam did something in the final. He went on the right alone.
Yeah.
And put Leo in the middle because Leo started on the right. Watch the final again. Sam went alone on the right to defend on Patrice Evra.
Yeah.
Did you work a lot on the press of Barcelona? Because
Yeah.
I've always thought that over the years, like everyone says how much possession they've got, but literally as soon as they lose it, they just get after it. Was it actually?
Yes,
like
we worked at it. It became famous after the 6 to 7 rule. But you know, if you look at Jan Rush playing before and players like that, they were pressing already. Okay, it was 6 seconds for us, but people, it's not like that not me, but they invented pressing. It's just a way of style of play. It was 6 seconds. We knew exactly. We knew what we had to do. I knew what I had to do when Abidal was on the ball. I knew when Iniesta was on the ball. I knew exactly what I had to do. And trust me, it wasn't nice because I knew most of the time I wasn't going to touch the ball. But they needed my run to free space for Andres. So every time when Abidal, because we were always coming out from the back, so when we were coming out from the back, ball is coming to Abidal, no matter what, I had to run in behind. If you don't respect my run, I go alone. If you respect my run, you drop. And then at the same time, Andres Iniesta used to come and get the ball. So then when Andres could go and get the ball with someone running because he could dribble well. Now, because I run, you're trying to put me offside. Okay? But then Samuel Eto'o goes in now in run while you trying to put me offside. So Samuel run, but then I can come back now and play a 1-2 with Andres if he wants, appearing from an offside position. Then I used to call it choose your poison. That's when Pep started to play with a fake nine. He always used to ask me to make run in between the centre back and the right back. So if we possess the ball well, and we always make run with Sam, you on the ball. It's all you leave Leo alone that turns and runs at you, and you let us go 1v1. That's on you. Choose your poison.
Was there any time you would think I'm going to go rogue and just take them on my?
I did, and I ended up on the bench. I did. But yeah, you try. You try, and then you see that it doesn't work here or whatever. Then, like I said, I go back to it's not my gig. You have to understand at one point that the most important thing is for the team to win. If that goes through me, that goes through me, that goes through someone else, that goes through someone else. But at the end of the day, we were all celebrating the treble, and you won one on the bus, and that's the beauty of that team of Man United. In the final, Jürgen Klopp didn't score. On the way, they scored a lot. You scored at Juve. And then Sheringham and Solskjaer. This is how you win a treble. Yeah. This is how you win big stuff, because everyone believes, and some guys don't speak to each other. It doesn't matter. We have to be good teammates. We don't have to be good friends outside of the field. We need to perform and fight. That's all you want. And that's what we had. We had that in abundance on top of keeping the ball well and pressurizing the ball well. But I understood for a very long time that this is not your gig. You know, this is Barcelona is not. It's not the club of my dad. If it was the club of my dad, I'd do whatever I want maybe. But if you're not there, don't do that. Just play for the team.
Thierry, the year before, United had beat Barcelona in the semi-final and obviously then went on to win the final. That game, I was injured, so I was watching it in the stands.
It was Paul Scholes' game.
Yeah, but the first 15 minutes of the final in 2009 was the first time I'd ever seen the centre-backs receiving the ball so deep on the 6-yard box when Piqué, I think, and Yaya Touré were receiving it. I mean, had you been doing that all season? Because it was something that I'd never seen it, and it's what we've seen now for the last 15 years since. But it was something that we thought we were going to win in that first 10, 15 minutes because you made a couple of mistakes and we should have scored.
Oh, the way you started, I was like, oh my.
Exactly.
Gosh, we're in trouble. The first 5 to 10 minutes, I was like, oh, it doesn't look.
If we score 2 in that first 10 minutes, does history change in terms of
it
the
does,
way
I'll be honest with you,
a little
because,
bit.
and I can say it now. Final, I was injured. I couldn't sprint.
You had a hamstring injury before, didn't you?
No, a knee.
Iniesta that had the hamstring.
Hamstring, couldn't sprint.
Yeah.
Xavi couldn't sprint. No joke.
That's a worry that 2 of you couldn't sprint, isn't it?
No, I'll be honest with
And
you.
they
I can say it now.
Yeah.
Remember, the whole back four was gone apart from Piqué.
So we thought you weren't playing or Iniesta. We thought both of you weren't playing.
I trained 2 days before the final,
Yeah.
and I was out for 1.5 months before that.
Yeah.
And so couldn't sprint. Xavi also had something in his calf. So if you went ahead, it would have been tough for us.
Wow.
So this is what I always say. This is what was nice with Barcelona. The club that I played before, and you all know it, I would have gone to bed. I'm not feeling well myself. It's going to be tough tomorrow. I'm not feeling well myself. It's going to be tough. My knee was. If you see all the pictures on the final, no, I'm almost staying up. I'm supposed to go. I couldn't bend my knee. Couldn't sprint. Iniesta the same. So, but because of the way we played and we passed the ball, nobody dribbled. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that reassured me to play that final. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? I don't know if I would even have played the final knowing that I have to make runs, crazy runs, and hold the ball and play alone up front, holding it, running at people. I would have said I can't do that. Yeah. But because of the way we play, and now we used to retain the ball and pass it more often than not, and not a lot of people used to dribble, I was like, yeah, I'm confident I can play like that. I can play being in a situation where ball will travel, not me so much running. Andres was the same, Xavi was the same. Xavi always was, you can never grab him. And so that's how we played that final. And
it's a game that defines the last 16 years of football history in respect of how every team now looks to play out from the back, or most teams look to play out from the back. That game was the first time I'd ever seen it to that level, of extreme level, of just taking so much risk where you think, what the hell is that?
We had game in the league, but obviously maybe you didn't see all the games that we played that season. But Pep, this is why I say so many times, Pep is just not normal. And the way he sees the game, he sees a lot and too much at times, because sometimes he will not let something go and he will change it straight away because he thinks that he saw something that can happen straight away. But the way he saw the game, the players that he had, and now we understood what he wants, because to understand what Pep wants also, if you're dumb, it's tougher.
Yeah.
If you're not clever,
he's not having it.
No, and the team will not have it also. Yeah. You're in a situation where you want to win, and so when we start to understand what he wanted, it became really easy. But Pep did some stuff that season that, the year after he started to put Dani Alves inside. And then obviously did it with Kimmich and then now obviously all the fullbacks are going. Yeah. And this is why I said that to invent positions, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. People say, oh, "Come on, it's too much what he does." I learned a lot with him. I saw the game differently with him. You know how easy it is when you play a game and the ref blow the whistle and it feels like you could play another half. Mm. Really, like I used to look at. I'm like, already. We're done. It's over. It's that, and I'm sure Roy, you will like that, and defensive-minded guy will love that. I enjoyed more stopping a team playing than playing. Me, it was so.
You ended up loving that part of the game,
Yes.
considering you're an attack.
Stopping.
Is that down to Pep or just the players around?
Was Rodolfo at Barcelona, who was at Liverpool and Man City? Was he,
Rodolfo Borrell.
No.
Maybe the academy.
Tito
the
was there.
academy, yeah, he did.
Tito was there. Tito was there. But yet, I enjoy that part because there's something new for me. I kind of knew the other part.
You're getting older and more mature as well. And
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. You know when you just go like this and the guy kicks the ball in the sand. Like, man, you had
never.
We had to kick you, Thierry, to be honest with you.
No, I was talking
It's a
about
confession. It's a confession. But, you know, you think about you... I was going to ask you before when we were on the Arsenal section, but we sort of moved off it, that... Did that clockwork between you, Perez, Ashley Cole, and obviously it was cliche after that, did that just happen through training or did that happen through matches?
That happened because of we're on the way we thought the game. Because Robert Pires, people don't understand how clever of a player
very
he
clever.
was. No, hey.
He was, yeah.
Oh my God! You play with him in training. I don't remember him losing a game in training. If you're with Robert Pires, you win. It's the way he used to play. He could play now. Obviously, the distance would be, but the way he used to move, find positions and stuff like that. So, I was a bit the same. And then there is a guy that I want to talk about, and I don't understand why, in this country, he doesn't get his respect. Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole was outstanding. I tell you why he was outstanding. Because, first and foremost, I don't know if you know, he went to Palace. He saved Palace as a winger.
Yeah.
Then things happened with Silvinho. I won't go into details. You guys know the story, right? Passport this, passport whatever. Ashley came back. I think he was about to leave, but then Ashley came back because they didn't know what was going to happen with Silvinho.
Yeah.
When you have a left back that can dribble past his winger,
Yeah.
well, it's not really me. He opened everything. So now I will be dumb to not find a situation where I can be alone. Because now the midfielder has to shuffle across. Now Robert was moving, I'm going in behind. So then he started everything. So yes, we took the credit, and yes, we're Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
Ashley Cole for me, you know, is if there is a battle for him not to be the best left back I've seen, me, I'm not talking about everybody, Ashley Cole, going forward, defending, the desire, what he won, why he won it.
Was it because he left Arsenal?
Maybe I was thinking that, yeah. That
No, I'll tell you what,
perception of it,
but what I didn't like, so first and foremost, Ashley Cole is an Arsenal man. All family support Arsenal. And for me, I don't care what people say, Ashley Cole is Arsenal. Yes, Ashley Cole is Arsenal.
But
And
the perception maybe.
yeah, because at the time he didn't want to say what happened since Mr. Dean apologized. Because they shook hand on something
Yeah.
and they came back with something else.
Changed the deal on him.
Renee.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I saw myself at Juve being disrespected.
Yes.
I understood Ashley. I understood Ashley. If you shake hand with someone and you look and you come on a Monday, it's not the same thing. And since Mr. Dean apologized,
Yeah, that's fair enough.
so there you go. So, but why still people don't give that guy his respect about everything that he has done? I never seen. I mean, Ashley Cole was outstanding.
Well, I think he was a brilliant player, but if you talk about great left backs, he doesn't spring to my mind.
But why not?
I know, I just weird. But when you talk about it, I go, yeah, of course he was a
Yes,
brilliant player.
it's okay. Let's put it this way: why is he not even in discussion? Sometimes you don't hear his name.
I think Cristiano Ronaldo said who's the toughest player he played against. I think he does mention Ashley Cole quite regularly. I think.
Roy can only talk about Dennis Irwin in that position.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry,
That's why.
You're right, Joe. Yeah.
what a player!
Of course.
He can't see
That's why,
past
just
it.
spot on.
This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by Sky Bet. Obviously, in your coaching, who informs you most out from your football career? Your own game, Arsène Wenger, Pep Guardiola?
Everybody, I took a bit from everybody. You kind of learn. Also, people that were not that great, you kind of remember what not to do. You learn all the time. Pep had a massive impact on me. Arsène was very clever in the way he speaks to people. You can go in his office and you're mad, or you want to tell him something about. If at the time you're very, selfish in a way. You want to talk about how you can maybe improve your game to improve the team, but ultimately you will say, "Come on, boss, what?" You go in, you don't even talk about what you had to talk about. You leave, we talked about, and I close the door and I'm like...
Did he know what he was doing with that, you think? He was smart enough? He knew he was diverting you away.
Very clever. I'll say that Arsène, like...
He's not a confrontation. He doesn't like confrontation.
No, he will always, but then you leave and you're like, yeah. You're in your car, you're like, I'm going to tell him today, I've had enough of this, I've had enough of that. You arrive in his office, you leave and you didn't tell him anything and you feel great. So he had that thing with him where he knew exactly how to trigger people, and also what he had is very much like Ancelotti, like he was letting the players do what they have to do. It wasn't, do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't so much do this, no.
Yeah.
Bring the, don't do that, don't move there, don't go in behind, stay. No, it wasn't so much like that.
Do you think that, because I always say the Arsenal team that you played in was the toughest team I played against, and not just in the Premier League, and I played lots of European games. That was playing against you between 02 and 04, but you never won the Champions League.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the way Arsène was there, could that have stopped you, do you think, in certain games?
I would say that sometimes we played games. So, for example, look, no disrespect to the team that we went to a final in 2006, right? That team has nothing to... If you compare the teams before, like you can't even... I don't know if anyone will start in the team before. Mm-hmm. There's one thing that I wanted to add, and I talked to you about it. Dennis Bergkamp couldn't play away from home. Sometimes. It is, and for the way we used to play, it was very important for us. But not only that, okay? That's not true. But sometimes, yeah, we did have that approach of playing away from home, 4-4-2, let's go.
Yeah.
We were the same.
We were the same.
Yeah, sometimes you need to, okay, they're good. Okay, you're not going to have your usual, we on the ball, it's going to be easy, they're good. And on that run of the Champions League 2006, it is the first time Arsenal played, you watch in the Champions League, we played 4-5-1. Then what a coincidence, we didn't concede a goal coming out of the group stage.
Because you had less players?
I think what convinced him is we were missing players. So he was less convinced about what he could achieve with the players that he had. So he was like, okay, you know what? In brackets, maybe I have an excuse to be more conservative,
Play
right?
deep,
To be
yeah.
more deep. But we played Juve, Real Madrid, Juve, and that Villarreal team was on the bad team. We didn't concede a goal.
Yeah.
With that team, no disrespect, I'm just saying with that team, just because the shape was right.
Yeah. Arsène was at the club for such a long time, and in the last probably 8 or 9, 10 years of his career, he didn't win anything. What do you think of the current Arsenal situation of sort of 6 years now, 5, 6 years without a trophy, but they're building and they're sort of getting better each time? That's
a tall building now. The building is tall. There's a lot of... the building is really tall. That's big. So I always talk to Wright about it. Look, I'm not going to pretend I'm an Arsenal fan more than him or a guy that was born and raised as an Arsenal fan. But I understand. At the very beginning, you arrive. And by the way, we won the Cup 2020, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. 3 years. And Roy can tell you, you also coach, you're in a situation at the beginning where it's not your team. You need at the very least 3 to 4 transfer windows to be able to change everything that you want to change. Get rid of the guys that are on a good contract, that don't want to leave, that maybe don't like the way you play or you don't like the way they play. So it takes time. Whether we finish 8th, we were not great, you have to give a manager time to be able to implement what he wants to do. So 3 years. Now, the last 3 years, we've been in a situation at Arsenal where we should at least bring a cup, whatever it is, or a final. Man United played 5 finals in their last 5 years. The United that everyone loves at played 5 finals. In the last 3 years of building that building, you didn't reach a final. So I do understand when people ask the question, surely you should have compete for a trophy, being in the final. This year we didn't compete with Liverpool. I don't know what people think, but we didn't compete not once.
I'm massively disappointed with Arsenal this season.
I don't know if you can say, look, I'm not saying disappointment, but it's normal that people are raising questions now about what the team is doing. And yes, we can talk about injuries. And yes, we can talk about this. But I can go back to time also where we had injuries at Arsenal and no one raised nothing. 2006, look at the injuries we had. Nobody said anything. Nobody said, we finished. The only thing I was happy was we passed Tottenham on the last day. That's the only thing I shouted a bit about. But other than that, you finish in the top 4 and you go in the Champions League final and you didn't win. So yes, injuries. Yes, this, yes, that. But in the last 3 years, it's only normal. Now people are questioning how come we didn't bring a cup or being able to be in a situation to bring one. Do I think that Mikel is doing a great job? Yes, he's doing a great job.
What do they need?
Yeah, what they're missing.
Look, let me put it this way.
I would say goal scorer to you in respects like Roy. You probably, but you do need in them games to get the goal when the team's trying to settle. You know, that guy who can take the half chance so as he can settle everybody, then you can start to play a game. I think when you look at the fact that we've drawn, I don't know how many games, 13 games.
Yeah.
You know, we've lost 21 points from winning positions. And those are the reasons why I'd say, yes, it's 7 years since we've had that now for me is the conversation that has to be had.
But a cup game, right? A cup
yeah.
game against Newcastle, 2 legs, no goal. Getting beaten at home by Man United in the FA Cup, you know, when United aren't great. So they're the moments. You can understand sometimes, again, not a league title, that can be difficult, but a cup game, surely does.
That's why I was mentioning a cup,
Yeah.
or even to perform or to try to win one. But when you look at the injuries, and you look at the players that came, okay? He brought players. He got Sterling when everyone wanted a 9. He had time to get a 9. He had time. I'm not the coach. I don't know what are the discussion. Everyone has been screaming for a 9, apart when we win, by the way. Because when we beat Real Madrid, we don't need a 9.
Yeah, we
don't need a 9. I don't understand the change of the people change the way they talk. We need a 9 when we're not scoring. And then suddenly we go on the run of winning at Arsenal. Nobody mentions that we need a 9. You need a 9, for me. And a 9. We're talking about a 9.
Thierry, you're one of the greatest 9s or goal scorers for the last 30, 40 years. So if they need one, who is that man you think could take Arsenal to the title? Because there's a lot of teams in the Premier League who've bought strikers.
I'll be honest with you.
And they failed.
Yeah.
One of my favorite 9 out there at the minute is Julian Alvarez. And you know, we've been talking about it. Putting pressure, playing alone, low, whatever you want to do. You see the free kick he scored the other day? Yeah. He can hold the ball alone. He played at the Olympic Games. He played the Copa America. I don't hear him saying, I'm tired or not tired. He plays it. Hopefully, nothing bad's going to happen to him. He played everything. And the way he plays it, you know, I just like him. But is it possible?
But
I don't know.
You know the two that get mentioned a lot, I see with Arsenal, the Gyökeres and Sesko is obviously a very young one. Do you think if Arsenal sign one of them for next season, do you think that are they good enough to take Arsenal to the title? Because that's going to be the pressure on whoever is signed as the striker.
That's the thing. It's the pressure that comes with that.
There's a bit more, because I want to go back to the injuries and that, and you know I've mentioned it on our show, and it's not an attack. It's just a fact. How come we have so many hamstrings injuries at Arsenal? Saliba again at the weekend. How come? We all know, we all played. Usually is how you train. You didn't do your ACL, or there are muscles injuries. So for the last 3 years, go and check out how many hamstring injuries Arsenal did have, and it got worse. So surely, like I said, there's something to work on there, because buying players, going to the right training camp, going to the right thing, doing your cold bath, hot bath, training well and not getting players injured, it's on the staff. Mm-hmm. It's not on you, it's not on me, it's on the staff. So that's also a work that needs to be done, because we can talk about getting whoever, and then what about if he pulls his hamstring also? Where do we go? We're going to again say we were unlucky? Because I don't mind that argument, but when we beat Real Madrid, or when Real Madrid went to City to beat Real Madrid, they were missing their whole back 4. I don't hear anyone saying that they were missing their whole back 4. They play. You got to play. You got to perform. You got to make sure that you have a squad that can, if Bukayo Saka got injured, or Kai Havertz, who was coming in.
There's a new director of football gone in. That'll be interesting.
That's there.
Sometimes you look at him and go, you're on about Thierry, looking for a player, and go, is it possible? I think you need these guys to make it possible. You have to identify. You're not going to get, but Arsenal must have 2 or 3 strikers. You go, make one of them happen. Make one of them. Find the money. Make the deal happen. That's what the so-called big clubs do.
If you look at all the teams recently that have been winning big things, more often than not, okay, you can look at the front three and you look at the team, but look at who is on the bench. How many times the guy coming from the bench saved the season?
Yeah.
So I think it was last year, no? Alan went on 8 games without scoring or 7. Mm-hmm. Julian Alvarez. Bang, bang, bang. Riyad Mahrez before. Bang, bang, bang. Scoring goals. And then after, who scored the most? Haaland. Yeah. But when Haaland wasn't scoring or he was injured or he wasn't there or whatever, Julian Alvarez, boom, goal. Riyad Mahrez, boom, goals. People always focus on the guy that's going to make difference. That guy will make the difference if everybody is on point. Because Kane, how many goals Kane scored you didn't win the title. So when the Invincibles our team started to go, my goals were the same. But we're not winning titles anymore. My goals didn't move, but we're not winning titles. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? So as much as you're going to have that guy that's going to come, you also need to make sure that the squad is well equipped to be able to play on everything. Because this year, once again, because I look at all those things and I'm trying to see, we went early out of the cup. Those weekends that we didn't play helps. Look at Inter finishing the season this year. Yeah. It's tough to play everything. And you have to go also to the Club World Cup or whatever they have to go. Yeah. I mean, how do you play everything? So the balance of the squad needs to be right. You need to have, I still think we need a 9. And it's not because you go on a run of 15 and then suddenly we don't win or we don't score, we don't have a 9. But when we score, I don't hear anyone saying we need a 9.
Would Arsenal find 100 million, 120?
Yeah.
Do you think that's available?
They will.
People say about Isak.
Well, if it's available, then go and get someone.
Yeah. People say about Isak, but surely if Newcastle get Champions League, you think he leaves?
They'll keep.
It was interesting the other week, him not playing the other day.
He's a great player.
I do like him.
Yeah. It felt like a little bit like, he's not playing.
Right?
When Isak didn't play here.
Thierry, last question to you. Where do you see yourself? Where would you love to see yourself in 5 years' time?
Here with you guys talking about.
Oh, that's great.
No, but seriously, Thierry.
There's some 2-year deals going.
I mean, we speak about this a lot, and even when you're talking there, we've had other guests on. We talk about stories, but you're even, you're moving everything around. You're always thinking of the game. Explain to the guys. I've got an insight into this when we work together on the Champions League stuff. Is that how much football do you watch? Because I've never known. We'll come into the Champions League games. We're across the Premier League and maybe like Barcelona and Real Madrid, but you're across.
He's more across than you are, Jamie. He's more across than
no way. A completely different level to me.
Too much. I do too much.
Salford, do you ever watch?
not too much.
No, that's.
Is it?
No,
Do you watch that much football, Thierry, for your own knowledge, or is it this idea that I still want to go back and I've still got another role in football?
No, for me, I see it as I'm still learning. Like you always see something new. I'm still learning. Like any game that's on, usually I'll pause and watch. I'll pause it for a minute, then I'll try to see. Then I go on another game and see a game in Italy. I'll watch it and I try to see if it's 5. How can I watch it? So I have 4 screens and I try to watch 4 games at the same time. And it's a bit much, to be fair, but I can't help it. It's a passion that I have. Yeah. I need to. Yeah, I need to understand what's happening. Whatever game, I need to make sense to what's happening. I don't know where I'm going to be, because there's something that happened recently in my life that I didn't care before. Before I couldn't care what you had to adapt to me. Everybody around me had to adapt to me, and we're all selfish when we play, right? I want to go there, I want to go there, so the family moves. And recently, I think having that. Coaching in internationally, like international level, so Belgium and whatever, gives you that right balance for life. Yeah. And then you go back into the game and you're like, hang on a minute. So then I went back with the under 21, and then we had that run in the Olympics. And there is something that I wanted to tick, and yeah, call it selfish maybe, but I wanted to show to myself and no one else that I could lead the team. And by the way, I didn't win the Champions League, and by the way, we didn't even win the Olympics, but we finished. But I got the guys gave me something. I got a connection with them, and I was always at home at night, and I'm like, am I that dumb? Why can I not? I didn't get that thing yet, like to make people understand what I want and what can happen. And I got that at the Olympics. And I will be honest with you, I proved to myself. And again, I didn't win nothing or whatever. But inside of me, I proved to myself that I could lead a group. And that took a lot away, if you know what I mean. Because now the balance that I have with my family and the way I'm living my life, why are you going to leave what you're doing, spending time with your family, to go somewhere? They won't even give you maybe 6 months or a year to put something in position to get the sack. When you move your family, you put it in a new school, and then after you have to stay in that town just because you put them in a new school and bring them back. Now the balance that I have right now is just amazing. I would love to coach. I won't lie.
But you might get the vibe that you got with the national team. That's the dilemma, isn't it? International football is a different flow to it. I agree with you. I've done it with Ireland, great balance. But if you get that vibe with a club team, you get that spark that you.
Yeah, it's going to have to be, in brackets, something stupid for me to stop what I'm doing right now and the balance that I have, because the risk that you have. Okay, what do you have as a coach to protect you once you signed?
Nothing.
You need to protect yourself before.
Yes.
Right? And also, I'm not in a situation where I can pick and choose where I can go. I'm not at that level, and I'm not pretending to be at that level. But can I actually analyze the life that I have now and make sure that I don't make a mistake, not only for me, but for my family, for my kids, for whoever? Like, you find yourself in a situation where, like, okay, I'm going. Before the Olympic Games, because I didn't tick what I just told you, I would have taken anything and everything. Because I needed to prove to myself that I could lead a team.
Were you beating yourself up?
Yeah, there's something that we all do, right? It's whether you want, you're trying to get that voice out of your head and trying to pretend that you and then at one point you go back because you that's what you do. You fight, you want to prove to yourself, you don't want to stop like that. And now that voice is not in my head anymore. That constant voice. Maybe if something comes that is big, that I think that it can be good for me and my family, yes, I will say it. But that voice is not there anymore. You know, like the dying voice. Like I was like, okay, I'm desperate to be coaching. I'm not like that anymore. I'll be honest with you.
If you're going to beat yourself up, use a feather.
Thierry, that's good because you're in a good place in your life, and that's
it is.
good
It
to
is.
hear.
It's something that I didn't value before, I'll be honest, because you kind of, you're trying to make a name for yourself. Exactly how I started to play as a player, but I ticked what I wanted to tick for myself, and if something comes my way and is great, then it will be that. But other than that, I'm okay where I am right now.
Brilliant. Thierry, brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
Children moving in for a kiss there. You're not...
Just with you.